Okay. So our speaker for today and our program is really, really cool. I would love to read your bio, Carole, because it's really fascinating and it shows just the incredible range of experience and dedication to service you've had in your life. You were born in Burlington, North Carolina, to Dr. Robert King. He was originally from Boone, and to Myrta Ortiz King from Puerto Rico. Calle? Calle?
Mhm.
The family moved to San Juan when you were 2 months old. You were brought up and lived most of your life there along with your three siblings. And in 1987, you married Dr. Carlos Leon Valiente, an infectious disease specialist. And together they have a blended family of 5 children and 8 grandchildren. In 2013, the couple bought a second home in Sun City, Carolina Lakes to be closer to their children, who had all moved to the States by then. Soon after, her husband retired and they moved permanently to South Carolina in 2016. So you were educated in private schools, graduating from a Catholic high school, and you received your university degree from the University of Puerto Rico in 1972 with a concentration in accounting and finance. After an early marriage and 2 children, you started working in the petroleum industry, where you worked for 30 years. And then you retired from Total SA, a French petroleum company, in 2010. So retirement. It was an opportunity to give back to the community through volunteer work. You became involved with the Catholic Girls' Home, San Jose de la Montana in Puerto Rico, became a member of the board of directors, helped with fundraising and also tutoring the girls in English and other projects. After moving to South Carolina, you joined Volunteers and Helping Hands and has been on the board of directors for the past 2 years, currently president. At the same time, you've joined other organizations such as Sun City Strong, which helps to raise funds for Alzheimer's research, and worked on projects through her church and helped other local charities. And I will have a footnote here that Alzheimer's is also near and dear to the heart of Rotarians, and we fund Alzheimer's research also. And I look forward to a little more collaboration, actually, between our efforts and Sun City Strong. Carole, I'm going to be guiding the slides for Carole. So I will, is it okay if I go ahead and share your slides now?
Sure.
Okay, I'll see if I can bring them up. And, okay, let's see. So share, and then I hide this, hide the panels. Okay, that one needs to get closed. And I close that. And then I go to this. Okay. Can everybody see slides? Yes? Maybe?
I can see that, yes.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm going to scrunch it down just slightly so you can get the whole thing. All right, Carole, welcome. Take it away.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your interest in our club, Volunteers and Helping Hands of Sun City, Carolina Lakes. Let me start by saying that Sun City Volunteers and Helping Hands is a registered club inside of our neighborhood, which is an over 55 community with approximately 3,200 houses and 5,400 more or less residents. And that's important to note because all of our members are residents, and all of our fundraising is done within the community. Can we go to the next slide? So we are a 501c3 organization. We've been operating for the last 17 years. We have been a 501 for approximately the last 3 years when we got very large and the community asked us to have our own tax ID number. We have 300 members officially on our website, but there are really only 50 who actively participate in all of our fundraising activities. In previous years, during COVID, our fundraising got up to about $66,000 in a year, but those were special years during which, obviously, people were not traveling, they were at home, so there was a lot more donations than there are currently. Right now, for the last 2 years, we've had between $55,000 and $60,000 in cash donations, as well as food donations and undetermined material donations for school supplies and holiday gifts, which are quite a lot. Next slide. So our vision is, by working together and sharing our time and talents, we can brighten the lives of residents of Lancaster County, South Carolina, and other regional communities. Most of our work is in Lancaster County. However, over the last few years, we have broadened our scope and have done some work in Rock Hill, which is York County, and once or twice have helped with specific organizations in the Charlotte area. But most of the time it's within Lancaster County. Next. So this is our mission, which is basically the same thing that we talked about, but a little bit more open, because our biggest recipients are food insecurities, so pantries, through churches, through different organizations, educational institutions, which is the schools. We do a lot of work with schools. We started out with just elementary schools, but are now doing elementary, middle, and high schools. And other human services organizations, such as Safe Passage, which is an organization that gives help to people going through cases of domestic abuse. And we'll talk about it later on. And so that's basically what our mission is. And we're organized exclusively for charitable purposes under the 501c3. During the year, next slide. All of our recipients, as I said, are in Lancaster County and other areas, and they are previously vetted by our board of directors. And by that, we usually, before we include anybody in one of our drives, we go to check out the place physically. We get financial information. We talk to the board of directors there, etc. And then the board of directors of our club as a whole have to agree on which recipients are going to be included in our drives. Next slide. So there are different ways that we work. We have yearly initiatives, which are done on a yearly basis. We have 2 food drives. We have Blue Bows, which, for those of you who know what Blue Bows are, they represent prevention of child abuse. We have women and children's communities that we support. We do school supplies for different schools within the Lancaster School District. We have a raffle, and we'll talk about the raffle later, because that raffle, the money that we get from that raffle is used for other companies, other organizations that are not within these categories. And then we have Angel Tree, which is a big project. And we're just starting it next week, and although it's a long time till Christmas, but it takes a while to get there. Next one. So we have 2 food drives a year. For many years, we had 1 food drive, which was always done in February. And the food drive can be food or can be checks. And we get both of them during the years, the drive. All the donations of food are sent to Bel Air Methodist, United Methodist Church. They have a big food pantry. It's very close to us here in Indian Land. And that's the one we started with many years ago. And all the monetary donations go to Hope of Lancaster, which is an organization that has two purposes. It has a senior pantry, and all seniors that qualify are, once they're vetted in, it's until they die. They continue to go to the food pantry. And they have another pantry for families in crisis. So what they do is they interview the families, they see what the needs are. And aside from food, they also do other things there. They help a family pay rent, they help with utilities. They have a social worker that helps them coordinate other other needs that they might have during that time. For a long time, we just had the February drive, but about 3 or 4 years ago, the food pantry at Bel Air, the minister there came to talk to us and tell us that during the summer months, for some reason that we really don't know why, the food donations go down. There are less food donations, but it's the time when more families need more food, because children who are not going to school and getting breakfast and lunch at school are using up a lot more of the food. So we decided to do a second food drive. The food drives have come a long way after COVID. We used to collect the food during 2 or 3 weeks and then sort it and do all sorts of things and then take it there. But during COVID, we reimagined a lot of our drives, and we have a drive-through food donation. What we do is at one of our parking lots here at the Sun City, we have 5 or 6 drivers. They park and they open their trunks, and then the residents come by. If they have a check or a cash donation, they go on one side. If they have food, they go on the other side. They stand in front of where the open trunks are, and we have volunteers who empty their trunks into one of the cars that is going there. And so it's just like a loop. As soon as one car gets full, they take it down to the food center and come back, and then stand in line again, and we go filling the carts. We calculated that our last food drive, which was in June, we got over 4,000 pounds of food. So it's a lot, and it's a really big help for Bel Air. On occasion during the year, either Bel Air or Hope will call us and let us know that they are in short supply of, say, certain items. We usually ask them to pick like 5 or 6 items. And then we'll do a mini collection where we don't involve the rest of the community, but just among the volunteers and members of our club, we'll do another food drive. That is just specific. For example, last November, we did one with Christmas items. So the pastor there came to talk to us in November, and we asked for different items, hams, like everything has to be in cans and non-perishable, of course, but hams and cranberry sauce and food stuffing, etc. And we did a mini donation that time, but it all helps. Everything helps at this time. Next one. Then this is every month we have something, right? That seems to me. In April, we sell blue bows. So we buy the blue bows, and the blue bows come in packages, and then we make up the bow and we start selling them. This neighborhood of 3,200 homes obviously is very large, but it's broken down into what we call mini neighborhoods. And every mini neighborhood usually has at least one person who's a member of our volunteer group. So we ask that person to sell bows at their porch for their community, for their smaller neighborhood. And we also sell bows at our 2 community centers. We sell the bows for $5 each. And then the bows are placed on the mailboxes in front of our houses. And that means that they support the prevention of child abuse, obviously. So it's a wonderful feeling to drive around and see so many bows on all of our mailboxes. Those collections are donated to 4 of our main of the recipients that we've had that for years and years. The first one is Lancaster Children's Home. It's a group home for children from age 12 to 18. They usually have anywhere from 30 to 35 people. I think they have room for 50, but usually they have about 30 or 35. And these children are there usually for short periods, 3 to 6 months, until they're either placed They've been taken away from their original home. They might be placed with another family member, or they get a foster home. But in the meantime, they're there, so we donate to them. Children's Attention Home is basically the same thing, but it's located in Rock Hill. Safe Passage, which is what I was talking about a while ago, which is a home for victims of domestic abuse. So the victim, usually a woman, but there have been men, come in with the children, stay at that home for a certain amount of time. And at the end of that time, they either reconcile, or they look for another home, or they go to live with relatives, etc. And the Women's Enrichment Center is a beautiful project that we have been blessed to be helping for a long time. It's a home, it's not a home. It's a project that takes care of more or less young ladies who find themselves pregnant without any resources, with very little help. They have parenting classes. They have a sonogram, so they do monthly sonograms of the children. They have a contract with some doctors in Lancaster that take care of the women. And then they have a mini store of children's items, of new children's items. And to buy at that little store, the ladies that are pregnant have to earn what they call baby bucks. And the baby bucks are earned by going to the classes, by coming to the doctor's visits, by having a sonogram, etc. But and then they also collect used items, and the used items are donated directly to the women. So it's a beautiful project, and we're happy to be able to help them. And approximate sales of bows in 2023 was $6,000. So we do collect quite a lot. If you figure on $5 per bow, it's a lot of bows. Next one. These two drives are coordinated because the same recipients are used for both. At the same time as we're collecting donations, monetary donations from the bows, we collect supplies for these same recipients: Lancaster Children's Attention, Women's Enrichment, and Safe Passage. The supplies we collect depend on what they ask us for. We have had, I remember several years ago, that we collected sheets and towels. This year we collected paper products and cleaning supplies. So we coordinated with those organizations, and they tell us what the biggest need is on that year, and that's what we usually buy for them. And this year we had, I think, about 6 SUVs full of things to donate to them. So it was a lot too. Next. Then this is what we're doing right now. We have July and August for school supplies. It's about a 3-week drive, and we do all of this in connection with the Lancaster School District. We have very good relationship with the Lancaster School District, and we contact them during the year for several things. We contact them for this, we contact them for the Angel Tree Drive, and we also like to have some of the principals of the schools or guidance counselors come and talk to us from time to time to give us an idea of if there are new needs, if there is something that they think we can do additionally to what we've been doing right now. So this year, we have elementary, middle, and high schools. This is the first year we added the high school. We traditionally have been doing it only for elementary and middle schools. But again, someone from the Lancaster School District suggested that there are high school students who also don't have enough money to buy school supplies, backpacks, etc. So we collect the supplies and we collect donations. And the donations at the end of the drive are used to buy additional items. For example, this year, the high school asked us for 75 backpacks. That's a lot of backpacks and a lot of money. So we'll probably use whatever money is left over from the school supply drive to buy those additional items. But everything that is collected is distributed at the end of the drive. Last year, we had so many school supplies that we were able to give to all of the schools that we had. Then we went down to the Lancaster School District offices and took the rest of the supplies to be donated to those schools that we really can't get to because they are south of Lancaster and it's too far away for us to be able to take them. And it's a really good feeling when you do that. Next. October is Sweet Charity. For many years, pre-COVID, we had an annual fundraising party. It was a huge party, about 300 people. We had baskets, we had 50-50, we had champagne and sweets, etc., to collect money. During COVID, we decided that could no longer be done. It was, well, we couldn't even get one of the rooms to do it. So we started doing a raffle. And the raffle consists of items donated by our members or the community. For example, gift cards. We have one wonderful volunteer who always gives us a $500 gift to be one of the prizes. We have another member who has an apartment in Myrtle Beach. And for years, she has been wonderful enough to donate a 3-night stay at her condominium. And then we get gift cards. We sometimes have wine that is donated to us, etc. We make baskets and we sell the tickets. That money, along with some money that is left over at the end of the year from Angel Tree, is used to give to people that are not included in our yearly drives. So in previous years, we have given to homeless shelters. There are 2 homeless shelters that we have been helping for the last couple of years. They're located in Rock Hill. I don't know if there's anybody from Rock Hill in the group. One is a woman's shelter, which is called Life House Women's Shelter, and the other one is called Belleville, I think it's called, another homeless shelter. We give to food pantries that are not included in the regular ones, such as the University of South Carolina Lancaster Student Pantry. As we know, there are lots of students that go to university based on help from other places, so we try and do that. Christian Services, which is another organization down in Lancaster that does a lot of work. We've helped them. And last year, also on the suggestion of the Lancaster School District offices, we started a fund for high school students. During one of the many visits from personnel from the Lancaster School District, we were told that lots of the seniors especially don't have money for school pictures, don't have money for caps and gowns, and so, etc. So we started the fund, and we have been very surprised by the uses that it was given. We had somebody come from the Andrew Jackson High School, which is south of Lancaster. It's a small high school. It's about 400 students. And they have a program called Student Cadets. I had never heard of that, so we asked what it was. They have a club for high school students who want to become teachers. And these high school students are offered by Winthrop University in Rock Hill certain seminars and some help getting into universities, etc. So Winthrop pays for the seminar, but the children need money for transportation, for lunches, etc. So most of the money that we gave to Andrew Jackson was sent for that. And that was something just beautiful for us to behold, because I do know that South Carolina needs more teachers. So we were happy to be able to start that fund this year and help them with that. Next. angel tree. I was just talking to Candace and I told them that our first angel tree meeting is next week, believe it or not. Although angel tree is not until November, it starts officially, I think November 12th. It is a lot of work. We, in coordination again with the Lancaster School District, we choose local elementary and middle schools whose population is, a lot of them are below the poverty line. And then the school guidance counselors at each school identify the students that are going to receive gifts. And after they identify the students, they have to call the parents, because the gifts consist of one toy, one book, and an article of clothing. So we have to know the sizes, we have to know what their reading level is, we want to know what toy they need, etc. So in 2023, we had approximately 170 children, but that doesn't mean that it's 170 times 3, because the generosity here is amazing. We might have a child that says that they don't have warm clothing and they need a hoodie. So the person that takes the angel from our tree will go out and buy 2 hoodies and 2 sweaters, for example. Or if somebody asks for a pair of tennis shoes, then they'll come back with shoes, with socks, with gloves, with a cap. And it just keeps multiplying and multiplying. So by the end, we probably have 1,000 gifts or more. And aside from all of that, we have, each year we choose one school. It's like a rotation basis. So each school will get, every 5 or 6 years, we'll be able to select 30 students to get bicycles. So each bicycle is a bicycle, a helmet, and a lock for the bicycle. And we are really, really happy that we have had wonderful communication with Walmart in Lancaster. We buy the bicycles from them at the normal price, but one of their employees assembles the bikes. They store them for us during 2 or 3 weeks. And then there's a company here called Valentine Movers, who for the last, I think 4 years or 5 years, has sent down a moving truck, because it's 30 bicycles, it's really difficult to move them around, moving truck to get the bicycles and send them to the school that's going to receive them that year. Then there are people who take the angels off the tree. We have a Christmas tree. I think I saw a question about that. We set up a Christmas tree and we set up angels. Each angels are different colors. They'll be pink and red and yellow and green or whatever. Each color represents one school. So the residents here in Sun City will go to the angel tree, pick the angels up, and obviously write down their name and which angel they took so that we can keep control of it. And then at the end, it takes about 4 or 5 days to assemble all of that by schools. And then we have 1 or 2 cars to each school to take the gifts. In order to be able to do all that, because we have one wonderful member who was president for a few years, who does all the books. She buys all the books, she packs them up, she puts them in gift baskets and keeps them for us until the day that we're going down to the schools. But monetary, but the people who don't want to go out and shop, and as I said, we have a lot of people that are getting older and don't want to take the time to go out to a store to buy. So they give us money, and that money is used usually to buy the electronics requested. There's a lot of Kindles, children's Kindles. I don't know if you know what that is. The ones that are pink and blue that have games and have educational materials inside of them, or regular Kindles like the ones we read on that are asked for a lot. And sometimes some of the things are games, like Game Boy games or Xbox games or something. So that's all bought by us because that's a little bit more difficult to get. Excess funds from here, and let me tell you that there are years that we have $4,000 left over, are added on to the sweet charity, and then it goes to other angels, the ones we talked about before, which are the student pantry, the different shelters. And last year, well, we had already distributed all our money. We didn't have a lot of money left over, but someone from Christian Services in Lancaster, they also have an angel tree, and their angel tree is all clothing. They had been able to buy all their clothing, but they were missing 45 coats for children. So we scrambled and I knocked on a couple of doors and plus what we were able to get, and we were able to give them $1,000 for the coats. So that's what the angel tree is. And next slide, Candace.
I'm trying.
Okay.
Oh dear. Let's try. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll try it this way. There we go.
So during the year, aside from all of that, we do other mini collections that are just inside our membership. Many of our membership also volunteer at different places. The way I volunteer with the Alzheimer's group, or I volunteer with leukemia and cancer groups, etc. They go to different places. Just a few months ago, I got a call from one of our volunteers who goes to Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald is in Charlotte, so it's not one of our usual, Ronald McDonald House is not one of our usual recipients, but they had sent out a letter that they were missing some food items. I think it was snacks and cereals, and I think they wanted detergent, something like that. So I coordinated with her that everything would be collected at her garage. And then we send out to all our membership, not the 50 that are working with us full time, but the 300 or so that are here. And she was able to collect, I think that she told me that they had to go twice in a row because she had so much, and she has a really big SUV, that it didn't fit. Other times, just, I think it was about a month or two ago, there is a member in our group that supplements Wheels on Meals. Wheels on Meals, obviously everybody knows what Wheels on Meals is, and they have a large group, I think it's about 30 people in the Indian Land section, which is where we live. And there are 6 holidays during the year that Meals on Wheels does not work. So that's Christmas, Thanksgiving, I think the 4th of July, I can't remember exactly all of them. So this member of our group and another friend have organized and paid for a local pancake house here. It's called Stacks. Makes them bags with a sandwich, a fruit, and I think a bag of chips or something like that. They pay for it. And then they buy additional things like a box of cookies or a box of donuts, or etc. Meals on Wheels doesn't let us cook in our own kitchens because it's not controlled by Food and Drug, obviously, by the health department. So she's been doing this now for about 3 or 4 years, and she was low on funds for collecting all that. So we sent out a communication and lent her a lockbox for her front porch. And at one of our meetings, we asked for donations. So as the people were leaving the meeting, they were giving her money. And she collected enough money that day, she said, for the full year to finish 2023 and 2024. So those are among the many things we do during the year that are not necessarily part of our official donations, but are done extra officially through our members. And I always thank them for it because it's a really wonderful way to be able to help out in certain cases. And then we have moving forward. I think have I gone over the 20 minutes? I haven't even looked.
No, I think that's fine. We'll still have a few minutes for questions or
Okay,
comments. So please go ahead.
We are always on the lookout for new recipients. And if we get one, we will do what we always do. We visit them, we collect financial information, we make sure they're bona fide, you know, in order to include them and to share our services with them. But I just want to say that we work with an amazing group of ladies in our community. There are very few men, but the men, all the husbands are roped in to help when we do the collections, when we do the driving to the pantries, when we go to the schools, etc. The husbands all help. So I want to thank them too, but it is, and I think we are making a difference in our community, which is what our purpose is. And thank you very much. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Wow, I'm sure there are. I have to share that.
I'm sorry I went over some of the things real fast, because if I go into detail, we won't finish.
No, obviously your excitement is infectious, and I mean, even though I live here, I really had no clue of the breadth of what you do, and the fact that you have created such a network among everybody who does try to make our, help our community is, and the process of doing that is incredible. So I will hush for a minute. If anybody has any questions or comments for Carole, please raise your hand. Oh. Julia.
So first I have to say, I think it's a bit overwhelming when you look at the tremendous need in every community and you think about like the areas that we have need. And so I'm curious, the structure of is it like a board or something that decides what the focus is going to be when you have some extra funds for something? Is it like a board decision? Do you look at it and go, what was our most recent request, or, how do you make that decision of where to put funds?
Oh, I understand completely. First of all, before anything is approved by the board, a board member has to go and physically see the place, and we have to ask for information from them, etc. But those extra monies at the end of the year all go to places that we have already vetted. So, and it's a decision by the board of directors. There's 6 persons on the board of directors, a president, a vice president. We have 2 treasurers because it's a full-time job. We have a secretary, and we have a monitor and webmaster for the system. So it's a decision between all of us. And let me tell you that sometimes we want to give it one place, or somebody wants more money for one situation or the other. But it has to be an agreement between all of us. It's not something that I can say, oh, I wanted to give to this. For example, when Christian Services had already been vetted, we've been giving that to their food pantry for years. When we found out about their need for the coats last year, it was almost Christmas. It was 2 weeks before Christmas. Some of our board was already on vacation, etc. So I sent out emails, made sure that everybody was on board, and called them. And it's a really pretty story. I'd like to tell you if you have a couple of minutes, because I found out about it through a friend, through somebody that does Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's group with me. She was the one that called and told me about it. So I tried to call, we put together, I was able to get about $1,300 for them, $1,000 from us and other monies that I was able to collect. And I called the president there, and I told him, we heard about this. And before I could say anything, he said, last night at 8 o'clock, I went to Walmart and bought all the clothes and put them on our credit card. And this morning I got up and started praying and said, I hope somebody comes up with some money, because I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. And he had charged $1,600, of which I was able to give him $1,300. And I tell you, and I've still got goosebumps about it, because it was it was a beautiful story. I mean, you know, I think that we are here for a purpose, and sometimes we learn about something, we have to make a rash decision, and that was a rash decision, but it works. It works to our advantage.
I have just a quick question. You mentioned it briefly, but in terms of showing appreciation to your volunteers and making sure that they feel appreciated, how do you do, as a leader of the group, how do you do that?
That's a tough question. We have meetings, and at our meetings, we always go through it's usually the old projects that are finished, the drives that are finished and the drives that are being done. We always give a round of applause. We thank them. We let them know exactly how much has been given out. And I think that is probably the best thanks, because while they're working on the drive, they don't know how much money we've collected. That's something the board will know, you know, a week later or 2 weeks later. And we try to keep them informed. One of the ways we keep them informed is by having guest speakers just like me. So this year we've had guest speakers from Andrew Jackson. That's how I found out about the Student Connect program. I had no idea. I haven't been in high school in quite a few years, or my children. I have grandchildren in high school now. We've had people from the Lancaster School District. We've had people from Safe Passage. I can't begin to tell you. This month we have someone, if you come to our meeting, we have someone from Christian Services. And he's really great. They have a wonderful program there too. So we try and keep them as informed as possible about everything. We're very transparent about what goes on. We send out monthly information about finances, about how the drives are going, etc. And sometime in the month of March and November, we don't have a meeting in December. We would have a little party. In last year, instead of having the party, we had the little mini food drive. But you know, it's to keep them interested in.
Well, I'm sure hearing from the recipients too of all of your programs really helps them appreciate the bigger picture.
We get thank yous from everybody.
Well, I will tell you that how we show our appreciation is we have a little free library program, and since we're all over the place, we are able to put books in little free libraries. I've got some at the elementary school here in Indian Land and different places. But anyway, this one is going to be donated in your honor, Carole. And it's the year we learned to fly. And I think along with our Rotary International President's theme for the year of creating hope in the world, I think you epitomize that. And so I really thank you so much for being with us today, and just blown away by everything you do. I will be posting a recording of this on YouTube in a day or two, and would love to be able to share your story further if that's okay.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, wonderful.